I wouldn't use the word immortality as the main descriptor for that future life, because I do think that so many people, when they use it in a sense which borrows particularly from Plato, the idea of an immortal soul which existed before time, existed before I was conceived, and will go on existing whether I want it to or not. I don't believe in that, and the New Testament doesn't actually teach that, to many people's surprise. But what we are promised in the New Testament is immortality as a gift, but it's an immortal physicality. People find that very difficult, because when people talk about immortality, usually they mean a disembodied immortality of the soul or whatever. And so in arguing for new creation and resurrection, I'm talking about a life beyond death, which will be a new life that death can't touch. Now, so that gets us onto the stage, as it were. What will that be like? We don't have any great descriptions of it, except that in Jesus himself, what we see is this strange, in biblical language, coming together of heaven and earth. And this is something which I think it's a deeply Jewish worldview, that over against the Stoics, who collapse heaven and earth together straight away, as it were, and say that's where we are all the time, and over against the Epicureans, who push them as far apart as they can, so that then the world and the atoms do their own thing here, and if there's a heaven, it's a long way away. In the Jewish and biblical worldview, which comes through into the Christian worldview, heaven and earth kind of mysteriously overlap. And the overlap can be seen in certain key moments, in certain memories, in certain hopes, in certain texts, and then supremely, the Christians say, in Jesus himself. And this generates a different kind of metaphysic, it seems to me, where God's space and our space really do come together in Jesus. And that's what then generates a new sort of life, which in the Gospels, in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the books about Jesus in the New Testament, we see all sorts of new possibilities. We see life being given a whole new color, a whole new shape, a whole new dimension, and those are seen as pointers to the new creation, how it will be. And if we stop and think, do I just want to go on and on and on doing the same things over and over again to all eternity, then yeah, that can seem pretty boring. The English novelist Julian Barnes wrote a book, The History of the World in 10.5 chapters.
I love that chapter.
It's a great book. And at the end, he has this character who goes to a sort of vaguely heavenly place, and he gets bored and eventually asks to go back, including, I think, playing golf a few times, and the first time he gets 1 hole in one, and the second time he gets 2 holes in one, and by the end of the week he's going around the golf course in 18 strokes, and he's bored, as you would be. I wouldn't mind doing it just once, but that, it seems to me, ignores what we know, if you take Jesus seriously, what we know about God as creator and recreator, that there are infinite possibilities, just as there are infinite things going on in God's world in terms of the vastness of space, the tiny flowers, etc. So God is into all that infinite beauty, power, delight, and the role of humans in that is not simply to be spectators, but to be participants, to be co-creators.